a lot of different instructional strategies because in the Spanish and German classroom, we are building reading, speaking, writing, and listening skills. We use a lot of individual practice with whiteboards to practice spelling and things like that so that I can get an idea of where individuals are at. For vocabulary repetition, we use a lot of things like Book It or other flashcard kind of games. And we also do a fair amount of worksheet practice when we are working with writing.
These sections for what strategies did you use to help you meet your goal? I'm having students itemize all of the assignments, such as worksheets, that we did in chapter 1, all of the Math Excel assignments that we did in chapter 1. Anytime we took notes in class for each section, they identify a cell for each of those sections, as well as our quiz review and test review.
She gives us worksheets after we learn about a certain subject or certain words that allow us to practice and use repetition, and she also gives us bookets that we can do as entire class, which really helps us to learn the words by actually using them and matching them to stuff.
Math Excels as little extra practice, so in case we don't really get what we're learning based off of just the worksheets, he can give us these Excels for extra practice. He gives us guided notes as well. That helps a lot. And this helps the most because you can kind of keep track of everything that you do and how well you do it. So it's all color coded. So like the green is like you got it done and you got a good grade on it. The yellow is you still have to do it, or you did it but didn't do too hot on it. And red means you haven't done it or you just completely failed.
Specifically in the German 3 class, this year is the first year that Tea Area High School has ever offered a German 3 class, so I am paying extra close attention to student performance so that I can gauge how fast or slow the course needs to progress. And so we have been keeping track of listening scores, of spelling mistakes, of grammar mistakes, all different sections of learning a language, and I keep that in a single Google Sheets spreadsheet and periodically start lessons by showing students the charts of our progression or regression depending on what we're working on so that we can have the conversation of why did that happen.
Using this goal reflection to track our chapter assessments. What I've had students do here is they put their own personal goal for their grade, whether it be in the class or on tests or quizzes. I have them put it right below the title here so that even if their class goal doesn't align with their personal goal, they can still have this personalized to whatever goal they want to achieve. Decided here is the more green that you have for highlighted prior to the test or the quiz, the more ready you are to take that test or to do well on that test. You may have some yellows and can still achieve whatever goal you set, but if you have any reds, we probably need to revisit those things, finish those assignments, relearn those skills, okay? We check this as a class 24 hours prior to a quiz or a test, and we will go back and revisit this once they receive their graded test back to reflect on some strategies that we could use going forward in order to improve our readiness for chapter assessments.
How you can tell is by your color coding and by the class goal. You can go and check if the red is past the blue. The blue is the class goal, the red is your personal. And you can basically go and check on here and see if you're doing okay. You can also check by looking at what you had gotten on all of the activities that he's given you.
For me personally, I can tell that I'm succeeding when I'm able to implement these words and stuff in the sentences I'm writing for other things. Like we have daily bell ringers in which on Mondays we have to write about our weekend in German. And so I can tell if I start using different words that we learned or start rearranging my sentences more complexly.
Like helps you know if you're ready or if you're not ready before a quiz and test. And then after the quiz or test, we could just upgrade that too. We can just like switch some things up. If this wasn't working, we can try something different.
This goal setting thing has helped really be more intentional about goal setting for individual students as well as the goal setting for the whole class. So just by doing this in certain colors, it really helps students understand what it means to be ready for a quiz or be ready for a test. And it helps us identify areas in which we can improve our readiness for the test. This in itself helps us improve our environment, be more intentional about achieving high scores in the algebra class.
I started at T Area High School the first year that we really began implementing PDSA processes in the classroom, and that was also the first year that we began the German language program at all. So that year I had a German 1 class, the next year I had my first German 2, now we have our first German 3, and that has been very helpful in designing a brand new course, especially when language is something that's so personal to a learner. I've really appreciated being able to involve students in the choice of projects, vocabulary, culture, and things like that in order to create a course that everyone is proud of. And I think our German 3 students really feel a lot of ownership over the program.